Welcome back to another episode of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. I am your host, Snoogs, and joining me on deck tonight is my ever-vigilant co-hosts, Grejio and Lucas, helping us through the top news and gaming stories from the week. So sit back, relax, and get ready for episode 309.
Whoa, this is the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast, the show with irreverent live listeners, raging hosts, and eventually conversation about the best and the worst of the video games industry. So, all that you're required to do now is to pick up your poison of choice. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst, and above all, enjoy the show.
Thanks everyone for joining in, coming in for another week. Before we jump in, Luke, welcome back, mate. How you doing?
Oh, thank you very much. I'm doing quite well. Yeah, I missed last week, but you know what? I feel like I didn't. Although I did the editing, so I was still really involved in the podcast creation, but still kind of there. But editing Lucas was quite quiet and has been for a while. I'm usually really buggered while I'm doing the editing, but... I don't know, maybe you guys can say some more stupid shit that editing Lucas can jump in and fix later.
We've been trying to stay away from the stupid shit so that editing Lucas doesn't have to too much.
Well, there was something that editing Lucas did want to inject into last week's show, but once again, too tired and aka lazy and couldn't be bothered putting it in. But there was a thing that you guys said, I think it was towards the end of the show, I think you were congratulating Atan on his new child being a father, and one of you guys mentioned something along the lines of, you didn't realise you could love something so much and you'd take a bullet for your children, something along those lines. And I was thinking, yeah, usually that bullet that you'd take for your child is coming from your own gun, but yeah, you take a bullet. Yeah. But I was too lazy to put it in, so I figured I might just say it now. It's a lot easier.
Real. And he hasn't been able to join us tonight because, he's finding about what all those late nights are all about, hey?
That's right, yeah. Late nights with no games.
And Greg, how about yourself, bro? Having fun?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. Let's go. Let's get cracking.
All right, we've got a big chat this week. So, Sid Spaceys as Martikins, Roscoe, and the Wraith. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us, as always. If you're listening along at home, don't forget you can jump in and join us live as we record every Monday night. So jump on our Discord and come and say g'day. Got a little bit going on this week. We've got Games with Gold and PS Plus for August. Luke, calm your tits, but there's apparently a Splinter Cell coming.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil is getting a Netflix adaptation. There's been a few games, bits here and there, so we might chuck those in as well. So let's go, boys, shall we?
Yes, let's get into it. Let's talk about Splinter Cell as soon as we can.
All right, this week in gaming, we were talking about this before the show. There's not much going on this week in gaming, so I've just bent the rules slightly. And 2008, Heavenly Sword, the Platinum release on the PlayStation 3. So the Platinum release back then was a certain amount of sales it had to get, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what the criteria was, but it was like some milestone in sales. Then they would re-release a Platinum line and just basically destroyed the cover art by putting the Platinum garbage on it and re-release the game.
And try to charge the collectors a little bit more again. So published by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by Ninja Theory.
Okay, considering you guys mentioned me during the show and want a little bit more editing, Lucas, here I am. And I'm going to interject with a little bit of information about the Platinum releases for the PlayStation. Now, to become a Platinum release, it's required to have a game that has over 400,000 total worldwide sales after generally 1 year on the market. There's a few other criteria here and there in there that they're not really that interesting, but as long as they've sold 400,000 units worldwide, it can be a Platinum release. And yes, they do get that shitty Platinum case on them. But, I don't know, some people like it, some people don't. Back to the show.
So I played a lot of this one. Greg, did you play?
Heavenly Sword. No.
No? And I know
It was
you
like
didn't,
that.
right?
I think I did play it, but very, very briefly. It was like female God of War.
Very much
Yeah.
so. That's
Yeah.
that's
No,
what
I never played it.
Yeah. So the game's story mythos revolves around, the heavenly sword, which was the blade that you wield. It was originally wielded by an unnamed god, deity, whatever you want to call it, against the Raven Lord. And when the Raven Lord was defeated, the sword was left over, and then blah 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 blah. Game comes along. It's third-person hack and slash. It's very Ninja Theory. It was a lot of fun. I actually thought they were going to continue on the story with it, but yeah, like you said, it was kind of looked at as a God of War with a female lead, and unfortunately, that's just what a whole lot of people gravitated towards, and just didn't get anywhere.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, I never realised it, but there are quite a few gamers out there that still, to this day, frown upon games with a female lead. Predominantly guys. They don't like. It may not even be a sexist thing, but they don't like when you play a game, you feel like it's a projection of yourself, and if it's the different gender, it doesn't feel right. I personally prefer to play a third-person game, especially as a female, because I really would prefer to spend 15 hours staring at a chick's ass than a bloke's muscly, toned body that, makes me feel insecure about myself. So I prefer to just perv on an ass, which is why I really enjoy the recent Tomb Raider games. But yeah, there are still a lot of people out there that will just go, you play as a female, I'm out. And
yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's still the group that take that the next step forward and go, oh, it's a female lead. Oh, it's social justice warriors. And you just sort of shake your head at those people. But Heavenly Sword was great. It was a lot of fun. So make sure you jump into it and don't get triggered like Spacey's over there. Let's get into the show, shall we?
We haven't started yet?
Well, the main bits and pieces of it. The games currently playing.
Let's get into the main course.
The main course. Greg, I forgot that I didn't ask you what you actually played this week. So I know you played the usual.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to kick it off with Grounded.
Random and talk about it, or?
Yep.
All right.
No. We're going to kick it off with Grounded. We'll get to your usual later on.
Oh, okay. Right.
Luke, you take Grounded away because what I played of it was a piece of shit.
Okay, well, look, I don't know what the hell conversation you two just had because I got completely lost. But okay, we're talking about Grounded. I'll tell you about Grounded. Grounded is it's basically a demo. It's early access, and it is out on Game Pass. You can play. I think is it just on PC and Xbox? I think it's exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
It's
yeah.
But
yeah, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, then you can play it on PC or your Xbox, and it really is very limited when it comes to the story side of things. You finish it in about an hour. If you know what you're doing, you'll finish it in 10 minutes because there's really not anything there. It's basically a tutorial, and then the game just says, okay, go and craft and build and explore. And the exploration sort of ends quite quickly as well because there isn't really much there. It is a work in progress. They're going to be adding stuff as it comes. So it's not really in a position at the moment where you can judge the game, but you can give it some sort of critiquing because that's really what they want. I found the game too difficult, and the reason why it's too difficult is because, and I played it on mild, which is the lowest setting, which takes away friendly fire, and also it's a little bit, it takes longer for you to get hungry and thirsty, so you don't have to be constantly keeping an eye on those things. But I still found that hunger and thirst still dropped reasonably quick, and the enemies in the game are very prolific. They are everywhere. Most of them are small bugs and things that will only do a little bit of damage, but they're enough to just be annoying. You can't really stop and relax for a bit and concentrate on your building because something will sneak up behind you. And then there's the spiders. The spiders, I find, they're not really confined to a high level area. they're kind of anywhere. And those things are ridiculously hard to take down, and they're scary. I jumped so much at that game because I turned around and there was a spider in my face. Wouldn't call myself arachnophobic, but I don't like spiders though. They're disgusting, they're scary, and they're very deadly in this game. It does have arachnophobia mode, and I thought that the arachnophobia mode would turn the spiders into something that doesn't resemble a spider, like maybe change them into large cockroaches or some sort of form of bug. But what it does is there's like a slider in the settings where you can slide it across and then it'll take away 2 of the legs, and then you slide it away a bit further and it'll take away all of the legs. Then it'll take away like the abdomen of the spider, and then you slide it all the way and it takes all of the textures off the spider, so it's basically just a floating orb, and it just looks ridiculous. That will kill you. Yeah, I think that would make the game harder. But anyway, I think Grounded, the Honey I Shrunk the Kids approach, where you are actually tiny children, so you've been shrunk and spiders are actually gigantic. Grass is now being used as, wooden planks, so to speak, for building, and things like that. I think it's a very good concept. I don't know. I just think the actual gameplay doesn't match the aesthetic. I feel like it's too brutal, and I don't know. Just going forward, I would like to see a lot more done to it. I'd like to see some interior locations like garden sheds, laundries, even a whole house. The whole house would be great too. Coming across like mice, cockroaches inside the house, dust mites, going underneath furniture, in between floorboards and things like that, going into maybe an attic. I think this game has a lot of potential to be really impressive. That GIF that's just been put in the chat can go away. That's disgusting. A spider crawling out of a chick's mouth. Oh my God, that's horrendous. But yeah, it's good, but it was frustrating at the same time because there wasn't a lot of, there's no real drive to go further in the game because there's not really much further to go. So at early stages, it's good to give it a quick try, but it probably won't hold your attention very long. That's Grounded for me anyway.
That's what I found out. It didn't do enough for me to want, and because of that difficulty with the spiders, or really, the spiders aren't the only things. You've got like centipede type things that will, knock you down in one hit, and it doesn't really hold your hand. You're sort of working out the crafting and everything as you're going along, but because of that difficulty spike, that it just didn't hold my attention. There wasn't enough game there for me to want to get into it.
Yeah, well, at this point, there is more that we can do. We can build like houses and things like that. But the big question is why? Like, what am I progressing for? I don't feel like it's early access. It's more just a demo because there's not much in it. You hit a wall real quick. So, I mean, look,
you walk through the no entry area or something?
Yeah, I walked through that, but then eventually you run into like gas, which will constantly hurt you, which is what stops you from going too far. But yeah, look, it's still very much a work in progress.
Now, Greg, have you had a crack yet? Because you're a bit of an Obsidian fan, aren't you?
It's downloaded. I just haven't had it. No, I haven't had a crack yet.
Oh, okay.
I've been meaning to. I had some people that want to play it with me, so I figured we'd try and play together, see how it goes as a team.
It's good fun to have a team in there.
Yeah.
Only because we're all acting like fools and screaming and jumping into water and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably a game that would be better with friends, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know.
Oh, right.
Except for when you're trying to sleep to get rid of nighttime, just like in Minecraft, everybody needs to sleep.
Everyone needs to sleep? Yeah, right.
Oh, and it's frustrating because you get people that get stuck, like they get caught by spiders that they can't get back.
Yep.
And you got to get back to get into the tent, and then by the time they get back, then there's a spider at us, and then we're getting attacked by spiders. There's just too much attacking you.
Yeah, it's a little too much Australia Simulator.
I mean, it's kind of like I feel like there's a lot of people out there to be like, just get good, scrub. You suck at the game, you're no good. But at the same time, I've got it on the easiest setting for a reason, because I want to learn the game and sort of work out how it all works before I just get inundated with shit that is trying to kill me. But it just turns into too much frustration at the moment. So it's one of those games where I'll shelve it now and I'll come back to it another time in the future and see what they've added and see if it gets better.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early days. So, I mean, they'll probably get a lot of feedback out of this. And they'll see there's probably a whole heap of people that are going, this is stupid hard, and they might take that on board and do some adjustments. Who knows?
Well, yeah, I inside the game, it actually has a little option where you can send some feedback, and it's quite simplified. And I just went in there and put a little angry face, because it gives you emojis to click. I put the angry face and then the reason. It was just to select from a list, and I just wrote, and it just was one that said too hard.
Yep.
So I went submit. Bye-bye. Alt F4. Good night.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, look, Spacey's just put it in the chat. That's exactly what my feedback was. I think I might have sent it through to him accidentally.
Went to the wrong spot. All right, well, Greg, your usual, mate. Jump in. Tell us how the Legion of Doom headquarters is going.
Yeah, it's plodding along. I finally, after all these weeks of stealing little bits of food from you every now and then, again, not without you knowing, of course. Like, I'm not, stealing is such a harsh term. I borrow, or I like, hey, steak and some chicken. I'm finally made my own food source. So that's, that's good. It's only been 6 weeks or whatever. And I finally just went, you know what? I really need to get that sorted.
Yeah. For those playing along at home, it is Minecraft. Greg and I play together on a realm.
Yes.
With a few other people, and it's we're both building some behemoth constructions at the moment.
Yeah,
you more so, of course.
Behemoth, I don't even think covers mine. It is getting out of control how big this thing is going to be. Anywho, so lots of digging. Like I said, I made a food source. It's Minecraft. I'm doing my Minecraft thing. It's fun.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun just to switch off and enjoy yourself for a while.
Yeah,
especially when it's just you've got what you want to do, so you just go and get stuck into it. All right. Well, game all three of us have played. 2 of us I know that have played this week. Carrion.
Yep. All right. Well, look, I've completed Carrion. See, the one thing is, though, does Windows games actually have a game timer on how long you've spent in a game? Do you know about that?
Don't know.
Because I couldn't find it. I was really actually quite curious as to how long it took to finish it, because I played it in a lot of small chunks because I was away from home for a week, and I played it while I was away. And when I got home, the night that I got home, I actually finished the game, and I actually 100%ed it, got all of the achievements. And I think the main reason why, because I don't normally chase achievements or side things, the optional things in my first playthrough of a game. But what I found with Carrion is that there were quite a few sections of the game. Or just quickly, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it's a pixel art side-scrolling game where you play as the monster, who is basically a big blob, bloody mess of bone and sinew, and you're escaping from a facility. You've been captured by humans, and you're just trying to escape. So that's the idea of the game. But there's quite a few situations where you can get lost. There's one. Like, I would give this game 9 out of 10. I loved it so much. And that loses a point because I think the biggest downfall is the level design, as in the ease in which it is to navigate your way from A to B. Still now, after completing the game, I could not describe how I finished the game, how I got from A to B, because it's a mess. You go through these like doorways, which then brings you out of another doorway. But because it's all 2D, it's really hard to get a gauge on, did I come out above
below next to over there?
Or am I in a different section? Like, it's very hard to work out. It's very confusing. So because I got lost on so many occasions, I would just be looking around trying to find where to go. And in doing that, I explored everything and unlocked everything and got all of the achievements. But the thing that puts back in its favor is that even though I got lost, I still enjoyed the game because the controls, the actual mechanics, the puzzles were actually so fun to do that it wasn't as much of a punish as getting lost in other games have been. Because I've completely rage quit games that I've enjoyed just because I didn't know where to go. And a big recent one is that what's it called? The one that's by those people that make games. You know the one. Come on.
I'm going to need a little more. I remember
Alan Wake people. The people that made Alan Wake. What's it? Control. That game. I completely... Nick was just in there to save me as well. I completely stopped playing that game because the map was a mess. Didn't know how to work out where to go and what to do next. So I stopped playing it. And there's other games that I've done that too, completely lost. But with this game, being lost didn't frustrate me. I actually really enjoyed trying to find and do all different tactics to find my way. So I really enjoyed it. So it gets a 9 out of 10. I thought Carrion was fantastic. I was going to buy it. It's $30, I think, on most places. That means it's probably $45 on the Switch. So I would have bought this. However, it is a Game Pass game, so you can get it on your Xbox or your PC for nothing extra if you have Game Pass Ultimate. And Spaceys has told me that it's $30 on the Switch as well. How about that? I bet if they do a physical release, it'll be super expensive. But yeah, that was my experience with Carrion. And also, Marnikins, thank you very much. Using the Xbox Companion app, you should be able to find the time played, which I'll look now if you guys have got some comments on Carrion.
I was just about to say you can try, but actually Carrion doesn't support that stat. I just checked on the Xbox for mine. It comes up and says no stats available.
Look, I'll have a look now.
Yeah, just double check because you played it on your computer, so I don't know. But for the Xbox, it says no stats available or something along those lines.
All right, cool. Well, while you're having a look at that, I'm going to talk about Rogue Company. Have either of you boys seen this one at all, or anyone in the chat?
I think that's the game I played with Wraith. Is that the third-person shootery game?
Yeah, it kind of feels a bit like a third-person Rainbow Six.
Rainbow
It's very... Yeah, just because it's a team against each other. You know, you're playing in rounds. You've got an objective, and so you're either attacking the objective or defending the objective.
Yeah.
So it's I got one of the founders packs for it. So it's just, I think it's in starting off in early access or whatever they're calling it on the PS4, and I'm actually really liking it. It's already seems to be at that point where people have. I'm starting out, and the first round, I've got a single shot pistol that's, it's takes forever to fire, and everyone else has got fully automatic Uzis and whatnot. But so far so good. I've only played probably an hour or two of it, I think.
Yeah, I played a couple of games of that with Wraithy a couple of nights ago. I was pretty tired, so we didn't play too many games. But what I did play, it's not terrible. It's okay. It's kind of, I'd probably liken it a little bit more as a mixture between CSGO and Call of Duty.
Okay. Well, I've never played CSGO, but I could probably see that, yeah, from the videos I've seen anyway. Because the main mode that I've been playing has been the bomb. So you're either planting a bomb or defusing it. So that's why it's got that siege sort of feel to it, I think, just the way that it does. Plus it's, each round you've only got one life, you can't get revived. If you're down, you can get picked back up, but you can't if you're killed out altogether, you can't get revived. That's on, I think, everything at the moment. And yeah, Spaces, that's it in the chat. Did you find your bits and pieces for Carrion, mate?
No, I don't know how this thing works. It's still in beta, all this stuff on PC. And it probably doesn't help that I don't have the game installed anymore, so it doesn't really show up. But it's I don't know. I would hazard a guess that it's only 6 hours, maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's just a guess. It's not super long, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. I can't find it anywhere. Pain in the ass.
All right, mate. Well, you've been playing Dying Light this week.
I have, yes.
So you guys picked that up on PC, didn't you?
Yeah. So as Wraithy and myself have been playing it because we wanted a game to play, I suggested it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Wraith hasn't played it before. He's never played Dying Light."
Oh, okay.
Man, he's missed out on a very good game. Now, if you like chopping off the heads and body parts of zombies, you have to play Dying Light because this game does it better. There is no zombie killing game out that I believe that is a contender for Dying Light. The parkour system in it is also, I even think that the parkour system is up there with parkour games like Mirror's Edge. The only thing that Dying Light doesn't really do at all that Mirror's Edge does is things like wall running. And Dying Light 2 is coming soon. And I hope they bring out wall running. That would be really cool. But it is a fantastic game, good value. Wraithy picked it up on greenmangaming.com for like $20 odd. And that's the enhanced edition with the following DLC. So it's got the expansion built into it. And there's also another bit of DLC coming out for it very soon. I think it's this month. And I think it's called Hell Raid. And from what I've seen of it, it turns Dying Light into like Skyrim-y kind of game where there's like magic and swords and instead of zombies, there's like skeletons and, monsters and things like that. So that looks really cool. I'm definitely going to give that a try when it comes out. It's only $15 on Steam. Mm-hmm. And we're really enjoying it, playing through the story. I've played through the story in Dying Light. Probably it'd have to be only second to The Last of Us, the amount I've played that game. And it's just good fun. It's so fluid, fast-paced, and the zombies just keep coming. So, yeah, Dying Light, good game. Recommend it. If you've not played it and it sounds cool, it is.
Get on. Mate, take it away with The Tourist.
Have you heard of The Tourist?
Oh, for some reason, when you put it in the chat for us today, it looked familiar, but I was doing something else, so I forgot to actually look what it was. Well, it only name looks familiar.
It only just got released on Game Pass within the last week, maybe two. Mm-hmm. And I saw it, and it basically the game aesthetic of it looks like Minecraft Dungeons, but with super depth of field to the point where actually the depth of field in the game is actually annoying. It makes you feel like you're blind. Look, even that screenshot that Spacies has put up, see the depth of field? Everything in the background is blurry. Yeah. So they kind of do that. I don't know if they're going for a tilt shift look or something like that, but
yeah, I downloaded this the other day. That's
I actually hate the depth of field in this game. It's way too overused. I actually tried to turn it off in the settings and you can't. It's just blurry and annoying because you can't really see too far into the distance. But anyway, I gave it a go and I was very surprised at how not shit this game is because I thought it was going to be just a cheap, like horrible, nasty game, but it's not. What it starts off, like it doesn't really give you much in the way of direction. It doesn't really tell you what to do at all. You get dropped off at this island, and it also has a little bit of an Animal Crossing vibe. The gameplay is nothing like Animal Crossing, but just because you're on these islands. So you get dropped off in a like a boat by some dude, and he drives you around if you want to go to different islands. And you're just left to your own devices to start off with. You go and have a look. You see some sort of monuments. And you're like, oh, that looks like a puzzle, but I don't know how to do it. Then you go talk to somebody else, you find some coins, you buy a camera, you buy a book that teaches you how to climb, so then you can climb up things, and you eventually quite instinctively work out how to play the game because the game doesn't really tell you. And then you work out that it's actually it's kind of, I feel like, do you know what I'm talking about when I say like Mensa tests? Have you heard of those?
Yep.
I feel like this game sort of takes a little bit from that, where you're given a situation and you just need to work it out. And I don't know, it's instinctive, it's intuitive. You just all of a sudden go, I think I should probably do this. And you try it and it works. And you do all these things and the puzzles keep coming with no instructions. So you sort of do a little bit of trial and error and you work them out. It's actually pretty good. It feels like you're playing like an old web-based game that's on a browser, but it's so much more. Like, it's actually quite good. It's worth trying. Now, it's not going to satisfy your AAA hungers, but for a tiny little indie title, this Tourist is actually pretty damn good. I actually rate it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, from playing it for about an hour the other night, I was talking to Az at the time, and all I could say was, this game isn't shit. This is good. It's actually pretty cool. So I recommend giving that a try. It won't cost you anything if you're a Game Pass subscriber.
I think the last thing on the list, mate, is your new PC parts.
Yeah, seems to be that I do quite a lot in my time. I'm actually on holidays at the moment, so I got a fair bit on my list. But I went and took my PC, ripped the guts out of it, and put it into a new house. I described my PC, right, as a V8 supercar inside the body of a 1982 Corolla. That was how I described what I had going on there. Because I've got an 8th gen i7 processor. I've got a 1080 Ti running in there. It's a powerful PC. You know, it's pretty far from the best, but it's still pretty damn good, right? But I had it in probably a $60, $70 case with like just metal sides, and the wiring was rubbish. Even some of my hard drives, they weren't even fitted properly. I'm like, it's not going to get
They're just slotted in there.
They were just slotted in there, mate. And I took a photo of it and compared it, and it just looked like a rat's nest. It looked like a piece of shit. So I went to the shops. I went and picked out a beautiful case, which is the Lee series, which I think it says with Bauer. I don't know who Bauer is, but there's some sort of collaboration there with the design. And it has a, what do they call that glass? I don't know. It's a
tempered glass.
Tempered glass, that's it. Tempered glass side and tempered glass front. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those like extra wide cases. For those that are listening, Spacey's put up the photo that I tweeted. It's an extra wide case, which gives me like a false bottom. So there's a lot of room on the opposite side of the motherboard where all of my wires are that are nice and hidden. I also bought myself some new RAM, which has RGB built into the actual RAM chips. The what do they call them? RAM modules or something, memory modules.
Yeah.
And so I upgraded it to faster RAM. So I've now got 3600 megahertz RAM. And I didn't go the 4000 because they didn't have that in stock. So I went with the 3600. What else did I do? Oh, I went with liquid cooling. Now, for those that know me, know that I have very much poo-pooed liquid cooling in the past.
That was the bit that threw me.
Well, hear me out. I still am a firm believer that liquid cooling is absolutely not necessary. For certain applications, it's a waste of time. If you're just going to be playing games and you just want a gaming system, air cooling is absolutely a viable solution. Now, the reason why I went for a liquid cooling system is because simply it's pretty.
Fair enough.
That's, you know what, that's a fair one.
Yeah. Well, with my old case, it was a metal side. I couldn't see inside the thing, so I didn't care. But if you want your system to look as good as it possibly can, if you're going to go with the tempered glass, then yes, you probably do want to go with liquid cooling, because then there's no big, stupid, ugly heat sink with a fan stuck on the side. But if you're going for cost effectiveness, the heatsink is all you need. You're not going to need the water cooling system. But this one, it's a 360 design, which means it's got 3 fans on it, and my case is big enough to house it. Those fans are all RGB, so they look great. You can change the color schemes, and it looks a treat. It's the Aorus liquid cooling 360 system that I put in there. There's photos on that I've put up on Twitter if you want to have a look at it. And it's just good fun. It's still not 100% complete. When the 3000 series graphics cards come out, I'm going to possibly entertain a 3080 or whatever it is that they release. I also need to do some more cable management by putting cable extensions, getting a single color and some cable combs. And what else? Oh, and there's a couple more case fans that I want to put in, which will eventually come as well. But yeah, I've had a great time. I enjoyed it, pulling all the stuff out of my old PC and putting into new one. It feels fresh to the point where I've made room on my desk just so I can stare at the thing. I love it. It's good fun.
That's great. Because I've actually got a tempered glass in my case, and I've got it's got 6 red LED fans in it. But because they're just solely red, it's not RGB.
Yeah.
But because of the way that my desk is set up, it sits on the left-hand side, which is the side that the glass is on, so it faces the wall.
So you're staring at the metal panel,
the metal panel that's got all the filthy wires hidden behind it.
Maybe you can get like a left-handed case where it all mounts the other way around.
Yeah, and like I was thinking about having it and turning it the other way, but then the cables for they just become filthy looking because you can't hide it towards the back, and it's just become problematic. So I just put it under the desk, turn the lights off it so I don't have to get upset.
Well, look, I mean, this is all purely cosmetic, basically. Well, except for the memory that I added. I did up the speed of the memory. It's all really cosmetic. The CPU is going to run cooler now, but if you run your let's say with air cooling, it's going to be maxed out at maybe 70, 75, maybe even up to 85 degrees Celsius playing games. That is going to degrade the life of your CPU. And putting a water cooler on there or a liquid cooler, you might be running maybe at full speed at maybe 65, 70. So it's going to be a lot lower. But the extra life that you're going to get out of a CPU, the thing's probably going to be shit by then anyway. You may extend the life by maybe 2 years, but the things are going to last 7 years anyway.
Yeah.
Providing it's looked after and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so water cooling, unless you're doing massive overclocking, probably not necessary. And I still stand by that, but they look a lot better.
And a lot of rendering stuff. When I was talking to someone, if you were doing a lot of rendering in Photoshop or the high sort of taxing video editing or whatnot, when you start editing in 4K, that liquid cooling helps a lot with that. But
it's only going to mean that you can overclock your CPU if it has that ability, and it'll keep it cooler. But it's not going to make your things render any quicker. No, it's just going to keep the temperatures lower, which isn't going to help anything. So no, not even for that application. I still stand by. It's a waste of money, and just for it to look good. But I clearly don't mind wasting money.
It looks good. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's everything. Is there anything else for yourself, Gretch?
All right. So quickly, I did play some Horizon 4 this week, just so I could get my actual car in the game. It was available as part of the seasonal events, so I did that, which is cool. And then I also took this for a blast. Do you guys remember the game Pain from PlayStation 3? It was an exclusive.
Yeah.
So I decided to chuck that in and let the kids go nuts with it because I figured they would thoroughly enjoy putting it through its paces. So for those that don't remember, Pain is a game where we have a giant novelty-sized slingshot, and then you get a character, and they put themselves in said slingshot, and you shoot yourself into a scene, that's sort of created. So the first one is like a cityscape, and it's got all these things that are happening, and you pretty much just launch yourself human cannonball style and see how much damage you could possibly do while inflicting pain upon yourself. So look, for my kids, it's a blast because they just think it's hilarious, like smashing into other people and smashing through windows and blowing stuff up and all that jazz. Yeah, that's the game, Radicus.
There you go.
Put up a picture there.
Put in the chat. Yeah.
So
I do remember that game now.
So yeah, I thought. Look, it's a good time waster. I give you that. But yeah, that's what I played on the weekend, just for a bit of blast from the past fun.
Cool. All right, boys. Well, let's jump into some news, shall we?
Yes.
Now, I think it was like within a day of doing last week's show that the PS Plus and Games with Gold was released.
Oh, yep.
So next month, or this month, sorry, being August, they actually start. PlayStation 1 start tomorrow. PS Plus is Fall Guys, which is a new Battle Royale style thing.
Takeshi's Castle.
Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah.
Battle Royale style. So that's actually releasing tomorrow and coming in as a PS Plus game for the first month. So that's cool. I can't wait to get a hold of that. It's just been absolute. It looks like absolute mayhem, but so much fun. I
guess we know what we're doing tomorrow night then.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. You'll have to go and get your PS Plus subscription again.
No, I've got I paid for 12 months of that shit.
Oh, I thought you got rid of it. I think
no, okay. Still got it. Still got it.
And the Call of Duty 2 campaign, the remastered campaign that was only released a few months ago, is your PS Plus, and that's actually available already. So you can go and get that. Yeah, I was tooling around earlier tonight on the PlayStation, and it was there, ready to go. So that's PS Plus. Anything on those ones, boys? They're pretty decent. They're just Fall Guys. Looks like it could be a bit of fun, and COD.
Well, the Fall Guys I'll play. As for Modern Warfare, I'll add it to my library, but I'll probably never play it.
I will play the Call of Duty campaign again. So, and it's only the campaign. It's not the multiplayer or anything. It's the campaign run through.
They didn't make a multiplayer for it. They didn't remake it.
No, they didn't remake the multiplayer side. So
Rem's already downloaded it for me. Just goes, he'll play that. He's already downloaded it.
Yeah, mine is downloading.
Yeah,
so it's all good. Games with Gold is Portal Knights. I kind of feel like that's been a Games with Gold previously.
Yeah.
Or PS Plus or something. Maybe it's the Lucas effect. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's a lot of people rave about that. It's I believe it's like a rogue style sort of game. Bit of a hack and slasher. Override, Mech City Brawl. No idea.
No, I don't know either. Override.
Yeah, I don't know what that one was. When I saw these games, they were kind of like a bit of a moment when I looked at them. MX Unleashed and Red Faction 2. Now, Red Faction, I've loved every one of the Red Faction games that come out.
Yeah, Red Faction 2 was really good, actually. I remember playing the shit out of that game. So much.
So, was Red Faction 2 on the original Xbox or the 360? I can't remember.
No. I don't know.
I don't know. First one I played was Guerrilla.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because those first two were FPS games, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I only played Guerrilla, which was the third-person one where there was awesome demolition. But this Override Mech City Brawl actually looks pretty cool. You these gigantic robots having a fight in a city. It looks okay. I don't know. Never heard of it. It probably sucks. I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah, they're the Games with Gold and PS Plus for the month of August. They're kind of all right. Luke, do you want to get your bit of news out?
Yes. So we've got a new Splinter Cell.
Woo!
But it's not a game. We can't be that lucky, can we? I mean, we keep asking, but it's not a game because Ubisoft have got their heads firmly up there, quit. So, but I'll take what I can get. So we've got a new TV series now. From the information that I have, I haven't really. I have seen some articles saying that this is confirmed. It is a thing, but I haven't seen enough to where I would go, okay, this is absolutely a thing. But it sounds like it probably is. But the information I got from Game Informer is that Derek Kolstad is best known for his work writing the John Wick series, but his newest project should interest stealth game fans. According to Variety, Netflix and Ubisoft have joined forces to produce a Splinter Cell animated series. Kolstad will serve as the writer and executive producer for the show, which may have already received an order for 16 episodes across 2 seasons. So, look, I'm pretty confident in saying this is a thing, and I'm pretty happy with that. There was originally supposed to be a live-action movie of Splinter Cell. I think Tom Hardy was slated to be Sam Fisher, but that sort of disappeared. Doesn't really have any news coming forward.
That was because of COVID.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, blame everything on COVID.
We're blaming everything on it this year.
But look, where I stand with this news, if I can't have a game, I wouldn't mind. I don't know if I mentioned it in what I read out there, but it's supposedly going to be like an anime style, and I think maybe in the vein of Castlevania.
Yep.
And that was actually quite a cool Netflix series. I enjoyed that. And if there is a Splinter Cell TV series in that kind of direction, being written by John Wick writer, I'm not too sure if he's the greatest choice, because Sam Fisher is the complete opposite of John Wick. He doesn't exactly go out guns blazing. He's more of a stealth action dude, but I'm happy to see what they come up with. And these Netflix series, the game adaptations like The Witcher and Castlevania, they've been hits. So I've got high hopes for this. I think it will actually be pretty cool, and I'm happy to see more Sam Fisher. If it can't be in a Splinter Cell game, then so be it. A cartoon that I'll 100% watch, and can't wait to hear more about it. I'm hoping it's only around the corner too. I hope it's not something that'd be like, oh, in 3 years' time.
Yeah. Well, once Castlevania was confirmed, that was a pretty quick turnaround.
It was, yeah. So I hope it's the same sort of situation here.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, some other news out of the Ubisoft Netflix corner. Beyond Good and Evil is being made into a Netflix movie. Now, this is apparently a combination of live action and animation, similar to Detective Pikachu.
Okay, yeah. Have they just given up on the game? Because we haven't heard much of that.
Well, funnily enough, all the imagery that I've seen is from the first game. So it might, I don't know whereabouts in the storyline it fits or what's happening with it. But yeah, this one's a mix of live action and animation. Funnily enough, it's actually being held by the director of Detective Pikachu, which was Rob Letterman, being produced by Ubisoft's Jason Altman and Margaret Boykin. Currently looking for writers to adapt the source material.
Okay, so that one's probably further away.
that one would be it. Yeah. So this news actually came out a day after the Splinter Cell anime was confirmed.
But you see, this is the kind of mess that I was talking about a little while ago, but I do bring it up quite often, that Ubisoft is in just a mess with their IPs. Like they're talking about bringing out a TV series. Well, if this is more than just a rumor, but this Beyond Good and Evil one, like, you're making the game, or is it? It's Ubisoft, isn't it, making the game?
Yeah. It's a Ubisoft title.
But yeah, I remember going back quite a few years. They showed us a shit ton of gameplay, more than I thought they probably should have, of the new Beyond Good and Evil game. And then as the years go by, we heard nothing.
We saw, well, we could have seen, but because we'd already watched it at E3, the Ubisoft experience a few years ago, they had the big showing of it there.
Yeah. But it just feels like it's on the back burner again, because it's been so long before there's been any sort of like updates or any information on it. And now they're talking about putting a TV show out. Like, how about just concentrate on some core activities here and not branch out to other forms of media in the meantime. Get your shit under control. Like everybody's been crying out, and it's not just me. There's quite a lot of people on the internet because I follow a lot of like on Reddit. I'm on the Splinter Cell Reddits and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of people crying out for a Splinter Cell game, and they give us a TV show. While I'm happy about that, I'm like, what are they thinking? What is going on over there? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Do you think the whole Splinter Cell thing? Do you think something's wrong in the background?
Well, yes. I think there's a lot wrong.
Because, I mean specifically with the Splinter Cell IP.
Well, yeah, I don't know exactly how it all works, but surely that'd be the only reason. Maybe they're struggling to conform Splinter Cell into a games for service that they're going to make tons of money on. Maybe that's the problem. It's not a big money maker for them because it's a single player game with some tacked on multiplayer that nobody really plays, and it doesn't make really big money.
The division.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest issue is that it's not a game for or game as a service game that they can make a shit ton of money on. I think that's the problem. And they probably will, like, if they do eventually make a Splinter Cell game, they'll shoehorn a campaign into a multiplayer experience where there'll be battle passes and DLC and loot boxes. Because that's unfortunately where...
that Skull and Bones, isn't it? Skull and Bones was going to be this great big interactive story, and now it seems to have gone more like a pretty version of Sea of Thieves.
Well, look what they did to Rainbow Six. Like, although Siege is a great game, it's not fucking Rainbow Six anymore. It's a completely different game. But they can make more money off Rainbow Six Siege because it's a game as a service. It's it's constantly evolving. There's DLC that comes all the time per season that people are paying for constantly and make money on it. Those games have definitely got a place. They've definitely got a place because that's a great game, but it has no right being a Rainbow Six game because it's not Rainbow Six as we know it, and I'm a little bit worried that they'll destroy Splinter Cell.
I'm sitting here listening to this conversation, just going, maybe it's for the best. Maybe you just leave Splinter Cell where it is because I can't. Having this conversation, I can't see how unless they're gonna be faithful to the IP. But like you said, they won't make a huge amount of money off that. So
yeah, but anyway, all right. Well, we're getting an anime, which is
getting
more than what I've had. Yeah,
cool. All right. Any news for yourself, Greg?
No, mate.
No, beautiful. All right. Well, let's jump into some last words and close up the show. Last words: Spaceys as Martikins, Radicus, the Wraith. Roscoe as well. He was in here for a bit. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and hanging out live. Once again, if you're listening at home, don't forget to come and say good day over on our Discord channel. We always have a lot of fun. Mate, we've got a couple of things for last words this week. So I want to kick it off with there's a few rumours bouncing around. So keep an eye out over the next little while. A rumour, first one, Ps5 Showcase. There's supposed to be a new one. The original rumour was that it was going to be on the 6th of August, but I thought we'd already know about that by now. But 2 days ago, PlayStation updated their YouTube channel and got everything that they showed in the first showcase into one playlist within their channel. So that's what a lot of people are taking as, they're about to show us some more.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty quick, pretty soon.
Yeah, take that with it however you want. The Xbox Showcase has all but been confirmed that a tweet put out by Phil Spencer himself was saying they'll talk about that in regards to whatever it was. We'll be talking about that more in August. So I dare say around the end of August we'll see some more stuff for Xbox, which brings us on to our next last words. Luke, I want to get your thoughts on next gen. You wanted to jump in with a bit of that after we spoke about it last week.
I was going to bring up my stance on the next generation of consoles, but just before we forget, because we forgot to do What's That Sound?
Oh, of course we did.
Do you want it now or do you want it after this bit?
Do your bit first and then we'll do What's That Sound.
Okay. All right. Well, with the next generation of consoles, I generally, and I have said this in the past on the show, is that, you know, I'll buy these consoles on release. I'll get the Xbox Series X. I'll get the PS5. I will have all of them. Well, that's since changed. Where I'm standing at the moment is that I will be buying neither of them. And the reason that I have at the moment is the Xbox. I'm not buying a Series X because there's no need for it. I don't need a console to play Microsoft games. I have a PC more than capable of playing them, and I'll be upgrading my PC instead of buying an Xbox Series X. There's unless Microsoft come out with some game that's only on Xbox that I have to actually play and I can't play it on my PC, which I don't think that's the direction they're going, so it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to get a Series X. It's a waste of money. Mm-hmm. Now, as for the PS5, now that's a different story. There are a lot of games over on the PlayStation that I can't play on PC. However, that trend is starting to change, and big exclusives to the PlayStation are coming to PC. However, not everything is, and not straight away. So not being one to want to miss out on big release games, I probably will buy a PlayStation 5, but I'm not going to buy one on launch. I am sick to death of being punished by being an early adopter. The people that buy the consoles on day one or very early, we pay the most and we get the least. And then you get somebody who walks in 1, 2, 3 years down the line and they get a cheaper price. They get fancy new special edition consoles that come with 2, 3, 4, 5 games. When there was me on day one, biggest fan, supporting my favorites, paying the most and getting nothing. You get one controller and you get no games. You might get a little, like a code in the box to give you maybe a month's free of Plus or Gold or whatever it is, which none of us will be able to use because you have to be a new user and stuff like that. It's just, I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of getting ripped off because I'm the bigger fan out of the people that play these consoles. So I probably will not be buying either console on launch. How long it takes before I do adopt one of them, I don't know. But I am officially jumping on the PC Master Race. I love my PC. I love tinkering with it. I love the option of it has the amount of power that I want it to have. And if it's not good enough, I can turn the settings down or go and buy another component for my computer. Rather than sitting back and going, 30 frames locked. What's this garbage? Does it have a performance mode? Oh, it doesn't. That sucks. And yeah, if I want it to have RGB, it'll have RGB. So that's where I stand. I'm not going to be a day one adopter. I usually always am. This time, nah.
Amen.
All right.
Where are you guys on that?
I'm with you.
Totally with you.
I won't be getting... I highly doubt that I'll be getting an Xbox Series X. Like, I like the idea of it. My PC is not capable of playing a lot of those games, not in any sort of great detail anyway. Yes, I can make it, but that's a significant financial sort of add to it. But look, I doubt come Christmas time I'll have a PS5. It'll probably be, at least probably second shipment, if not third.
But you know what? A lot of people that I've seen make videos on YouTube are saying that this is the biggest mistake Microsoft are making, is that people don't need to buy the console anymore. They'll just play them on their PC. So they're going to miss out on console sales. But I think that's exactly what they want. Because the people that want the console will buy one. Yep. They'll sign up to Game Pass or Gold and play the games. Okay, that's a win for them. And then the people that don't want to buy the console will probably, like me, I will still subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and be paying them a subscription. How much money are they going to make off me buying the console? Not a lot.
Not much.
From what I know, that's a one-time purchase, and maybe with the amount that they drop on the console, they might even be losing money on the actual sale of the console.
Yeah.
But because they've taken the model that they have and they're putting everything on as many devices as they can, they're still going to be taking money from me Because even though I don't have a current Xbox and I probably won't be playing anything on Xbox, I'm still paying them a monthly subscription because it's too good. The value's great and I can play those games on my PC. So I'm still paying them, which is probably going to take more money off me than buying the console in the long run. So I don't think it's a mistake at all. I think it's stupidly smart. Smart. It's like the dumbest thing I could say. It's ridiculously smart.
And it's what I said last week. Phil's been saying he doesn't care what you play on, just play on the brand. And he goes, we'll bring out an S, we'll bring out an X, we're bringing out every possible Swiss Army knife version to get any person at any level into their brand. And that's all they're doing.
If you don't have a console and you don't have a PC, but you've got like the latest and greatest iPhone 12, whatever, play on that.
Exactly.
And so you're still paying the same amount as me.
Yes.
But you're playing on your phone.
Yep.
I think Phil Spencer, even though like he's seen as like the savior of Xbox, which he pretty much is, he's like the biggest salesman ever. He's like full just bamboozled me. I'm just like, here, take my money. I'm not going to buy your console, but I'm still going to give you all my money. I think it's absolutely brilliant for Xbox. I think they're going to go great guns. They may not have the big exclusives of PlayStation, but I think they'll make more money in the long run than Sony, which will probably eventually lift them up into greater and bigger things. But as it stands, with PlayStation, I have to buy a PlayStation. So they'll make money on selling me the console, but they may lose money from people who don't bother buying the PlayStation. Because if you don't buy a PlayStation, you are giving them $0. Because why would you pay for PS Plus if you didn't have the console? So it just that makes sense to me. But I think a lot of people are missing that point, thinking that Microsoft have made a mistake because no one's going to buy Series X.
Because your biggest financial outlay is not the console. It might be the biggest single outlay you have, but it's not the biggest over the cycle. Your biggest is games.
Games and subscriptions. Like Game Pass, that's right. Exactly. Absolutely. Over the life of the console, that's the biggest purchase, not the console. There you go. That's where I stand.
All right. Anything else to add, Greg?
No. I've never been a day one supporter, so business as usual for me.
I'm the only idiot here. But anyway, changing my ways. All right. Shall we do What's That Sound?
Yes.
All right. So I wasn't here last week, but we did give away the answer to the previous What's That Sound, which was this one. And it was the dying sound effect for The Last of Us. And nobody got it. So you're all disgusting casuals that don't play awesome games.
Or with that, didn't hear the dying sound.
Well, yeah, very, very unlikely. But anyway, this week I've got another sound for you guys. So if you think you know what this sound is, then head across to our Discord server, go into the podcast general, and leave your answer. If you're correct, you're going to get an emoji free of charge. Yeah, that's how we roll. We rock. Do you know what this sound is? Oh, that's another hard one.
Jesus. No. You know what? I've heard it, though, but I've got no idea what it is.
Ooh, Fortnite is incorrect, Spacies. Here it is again. Oh, I kind of guess why I get why you say Fortnite. Kind of Fortnite-ish, but no, it couldn't be anything further from a Fortnite kind of game anyway. But we've got Radicus says he's heard it as well. The Wraith has no idea. One more time. That's it there. Now, I am going to leave you with a clue because I think that is actually pretty hard. It is a game that is part of a series and probably the most popular game in that series. That's all I'm going to say. All right, we'll give you the answer on next week's show.
You know what the funny thing is? I know you and I have spoken about what your mentality is when it comes to What's That Sound, and I still have no idea.
Yeah, well, no.
For anyone listening at home, Luke likes to trick us by taking an obscure sound out of a very well-known game or something you'd hear quite often, but it's obscure, so it's not something you commit to memory all the time.
Yeah, well, that's spot on, and that's exactly what I've done here. It's a very well-known game, and if you've played this game, you would have heard it over and over and over again, but it's just those sounds that you take for granted, and they just don't sit in your brain. But
no,
I don't know. Some people will get it. Wraithy says Simpsons Hit and Run. That's incorrect. Actually, I've got this. Simpsons Hit and Run. Radicus says Crash Bandicoot. Mardican says Ratchet and Clank.
So cathartic.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's going to get it. Radicus says get fucked. Super Meat Boy.
Oh God, this could be going all night. So
could be.
Aussie Gamers TV and Snooger Vision over on Twitch. I have 2 new games that I'll be playing this week over on Twitch. So make sure you come and say g'day. And those games are Hellscape and Scully. So they're both releasing this week, and I get to play and show them off. So it should be a bit of fun. And over on Instagram, Grejio XBL. There we go. We've got some more bum fights or Rocket League.
No.
All right. Anything else before we close it up, boys?
No. Has anyone got a joke? Because I've got a badum-chish sound effect as well.
I know what. Since Spacey should call his cat Sifa.
There you go. Thank you very much to everyone that's assisted this show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Don't forget to continue any of the topics we've discussed over in our Discord channel or hit us up via our socials. While you're at it, hit up our website, www.theagexp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions. That's all from me. As always, I've been Snoogs.
I've been Lucas.
I have been Grejio.
Sorry. Fucking Redicus. Put a condom on inside out instead of coming on wet.
Bye-bye, dude. Ooh, once again, we have reached the end of another week in gaming. And if you've listened all the way up until this point of the show, then there's a good chance that you're a perfect fit for the Age XP Discord channel. And you can join by using the links in the show description. Once you've joined, you will find yourself within a community of amazing people who are all interested in one thing, and that's gaming. You can also join in live while we record the show and have your say. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you'll be notified when the next episode is available for your listening pleasure. Until next time, take care, be safe, and keep on gaming.